my vision was on that light at the end of the tunnel. I'm like, okay, I can see that, you know, this is gonna happen for me one day. Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel for another video. So glad you decided to stop by. So on your way out, please make sure to hit a like on this video, subscribe if you haven't already, because if not, you're missing out. So without further ado, y'all, let's go ahead and get on in this video. This video is all about college and things you need to know and things that you should consider as well before starting or resuming your college journey. So the first thing I want to share with y'all is, number one, you're never too old to go back to school. You know, despite what some people might say, oh, I'm too old, or I don't have the time, I don't have the patience. You might not have that much time and you might be a little impatient, but I will say that it's worth it if you do decide that that's something that you want to do. Don't ever feel like you're too old or you can't start something new, because you can completely change your whole life. So for me, after I graduated high school, I did go to college immediately after. And I went for like a year and a half. And, you know, I lived a college life. I did pretty good. My grades were pretty good. But, you know, life happened. And then I met my then boyfriend, now husband. And we had a daughter. And I kind of, for a little while, gave up on school. Or at least I put it on the back burner. So when my daughter was about 2.5, I made a decision that I wanted to start looking into going back to school, because that's something I really, really wanted to do. So what I decided to do was I enrolled online, and I was just doing classes part-time. You know, I was working full-time. I was a mother working 8 to 5. And, you know, in the evenings, once I got things settled, you know, in the household, I would, you know, do my work, do my studying or whatever else like that. And I'm not gonna lie, when you first go back to school, it's gonna be different, because number one, you do have to make sacrifices. Anything in life that's good and that's worthwhile, it always comes with some type of sacrifice. And for me, one of the biggest or hardest sacrifices was giving up my leisure time. But once I started to realize that, you know, what I was doing was to better myself and my family, I realized, you know, okay, leisure time can wait. This was something that, you know, was important and that I wanted to do. So you definitely have to remember that you need, you know, to focus. As much time as you can put into school, you need to do that, because otherwise you can't half do college. Like, you just can't, because you're not going to make the grades. And if you don't make the grades, you'll get kicked out the program, or you just won't pass the classes, and you'll be facing having to repeat those classes again. And of course, those courses cost money. I mean, even if you have, you know, student loans or financial aid, like every time you have to retake a course, you're having to pay for it again. So you definitely, these glasses are annoying me, so I'm moving them, y'all. You definitely want to make sure that if you decide to go back to school, you know, give it your all. Don't just, you know, go half-cocked, because it is worth all your effort. And once you get in a routine of, you know, knowing kind of what your assignments are, how long it takes you, you know, each day or each week to do your coursework, you can kind of work around that. You know, it's not all bad. Yes, you have to sacrifice some time, but once you get in a groove of it, you kind of have a schedule, then it's not so bad. But don't let anybody tell you, oh, it's easy, it's a piece of cake, you know, going to school online is way easier. That's a lie. That's a bold-faced lie. Lies. It's not easier going to school online, because you're not face-to-face. You're not physically there with that instructor to, you know, ask important questions. You can't get that face-to-face one-on-one. You know, you're strictly, it's almost like you're teaching yourself. You know, the teacher gives you your syllabus, they give you whatever study resources or materials, but essentially, you know, doing college online is pretty much self-guided. Like, you have to navigate your way through that, and you have to find, you know, ways to make it work for you. So, you know, remember, it takes time. it takes effort, and it's not going to be that easy. But a very important thing to do when you're in those online classes is stay in contact with your professor or your advisor. You'd be surprised how many professors are very understanding. They're easy to communicate with. Some of them are good about responding promptly, some are not. So you may send an email to a professor and you might not hear back for a couple days or so. If that's the case, don't give up. I had so many times where I just wasn't used to that, so I would get frustrated a lot. There was even times when I just wanted to just say, forget it. This is too much. It's overwhelming. I don't have a teacher here to guide me through. I'm not getting a response. Definitely reach out to your professor, and if they don't respond in a reasonable time frame, follow up with another email. Or if they've provided to you a syllabus, which most professors, I think they have to, check out their business hours or see what their contact phone number is that they should list on the syllabus, and just try to make contact, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that you would expect a professor to do, but sometimes you just have to be willing to take that extra step to make sure that you're good. It's not about them, it's about you. So if you need something from that professor or from your advisor, definitely communicate. Communication is key. I had times where something might have came up and I might have had to miss an assignment or be a little bit late. If that's the case, again, you want to reach out and just be sincere and let the professor know, what's going on or whatever you feel comfortable with sharing. But 9 times out of 10, they will be, willing to work with you if you communicate with them. So remember, communication is key. Talk to your professor whenever you can, whenever you need to, and stay on top of your work. I cannot stress that enough. When you get behind in college, it's almost like you spend the whole semester or the whole term trying to catch up. That is not, I don't do well with that. Like working from behind, trying to, climb my way back up. I can't. Like, I always like to stay in front of the assignments or ahead. And quite frankly, that's not always possible. But don't give up. Just try your best to stay on top of things. Keep you a planner if you are concerned that you might not, be able to remember what's due or when it's due. Maintain you a planner. And that's what I used to do. I used to write down the course name, the course number, and I would write exactly what that assignment was, and I would put it on my planner, under each day. And that particular planner was dedicated for me. I just had it dedicated for school. So any assignments or anything like that, tests or whatever, I would just write it in that planner. And that way, every day or however often you're looking at it and you're seeing, okay, I have this due, I have that due, and you're able to stay afloat, stay on top of it. Another good thing to do is, monitor your grades. When you know that you're turning in your work, each college is different. I know a lot of schools use Moodle. I'm not sure if they still do that. I've been out of school for 2 years now, but keep up with your grades. If something doesn't look quite right, definitely you want to catch that, and you want to have a conversation with your instructor or professor and bring that to their attention, whether you feel there was an error when it came to grading or if you didn't get credit for something. Communication comes in to play, because you need to look out for you. It's not the professor's job to make sure that you pass. It's your job. And, you can do it. I feel like if I can do it, anybody can. I went back to school, again, when my daughter was 2.5 and I was working a full-time job. It was hard, but you know what? It was worth it. I went to school and I got a bachelor's degree. And then after that, I decided, okay, I want to do my master's. Master's degree programs are a lot more intense. The requirements are definitely way higher, and I can do a separate video dedicated to grad school and just things to know and prepare for with that as well. Because even though I had went back to school and got my bachelor's degree, it was just a lot of a difference for me from undergrad to grad school. Grad school, the bar is set way higher. Like, it's a whole nother league. So you think that college, undergrad, is a step above high school, and it is, but when you get on that graduate level, it's like they turn up the intensity. Like, to 10,000. And again, it's not nothing that you can't do. You can. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do this or it's too much. Don't tell yourself I can't do this, it's too much. You might get discouraged, and that's fine, but don't stay there. Don't stay there, because at the end of the day, if you're gonna put in time into, you know, furthering your education, then you just need to give it your all. You know, it can basically change your whole life if you just, you know, apply yourself and stay organized to the best of your ability and just do it. You know, don't hesitate. If it's something that you feel like you want to do, then absolutely you should go for it, you know. And if you realize it's not for you, that's okay too. But at least you know that you tried, you explored that option. And, you know, it's so many aspects of college that, you know, people don't necessarily know. I feel like when you're in high school, they don't necessarily, they prepare you to the best of their ability, but it's just so many things that, you know, you end up learning as you progress through your, you know, post-secondary education. I mean, it's so much stuff that you learn about yourself and just things in general, and it's just way different. So you just have to have the mindset of, okay, I can do this, I will do this, I want to do this, and it's gonna pay off in the end. That's the one thing that just kept me motivated. It kept me going because my vision was on that light at the end of the tunnel. I'm like, okay, I can see that, you know, this is gonna happen for me one day. And when I first started, I was doing it part-time. I was doing 2 classes a semester. So you can imagine it took quite a while for me to finish my undergraduate degree, just because, you know, I was going slow. But you have to go at your own pace. You know, if you overload yourself with too many courses, then it's gonna be hard. I'm not saying you can't do that, because essentially you can do anything you put your mind to, but it's gonna be a lot harder, and you have to know what you can handle, you know, what works for your schedule, your lifestyle, or whatever. So, you know, college, again, I feel like it is worth it, and it is a challenge, but it's a challenge that you can get through. You can, you know, don't be discouraged. Don't let little stuff get you down. And, you know, most importantly, it's all in the mind. You know, you have to have that mindset of, this is what I'm doing and I'm going to do it. And it's as simple as that, y'all. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't or that you're too old. When I was physically at my undergraduate graduation, it had an 80-something-year-old man. He had finished his degree program. And I mean, it was just a beautiful, moving thing. Anybody can go back to school and get an education, and it can change your life, you know. So those are just a few tips and things that, you know, I thought of that I kind of wish that I knew going in, because I wouldn't have been so, I feel like, unprepared. Had I had a better understanding of what I was walking into, I think I'd have been more prepared, because going from, you know, not being in school to being back in school, it was a huge difference, and it was a shock. But, you know, eventually over time, I got in a good groove. I got in a good, you know, schedule, and everything just kind of was smooth sailing from there. So again, y'all, if I can do it, I know you can too. I now have my bachelor's and master's. If it wasn't for a shame, I would go in for a doctorate, but I just don't think that I got it in me, you know, not to do another, 4 years of college. I did enough school. So I don't think I would want to go further, but who knows? I just want y'all to remember that you can do it. You can do anything you put your mind to. So on that note, you guys, I am finna get out of here. Just stay motivated, elevated, and until next time, you guys, I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.